President Trump pledged to drain the swamp and championed the forgotten man. But for a group of Louisiana fishermen, their actual swamp and their livelihoods are in crisis. NBC's Vaughn Hilliard visited the basin that once supported 3,000 fishing jobs, now whittled down to 300.
Oh, that's my baby.
Ben Bienvenu lives off Louisiana waters.
This is my front yard.
Fishing the Chafalaya Basin, America's most expansive swamp. When we first visited in March of last year,
One crawfish.
the swamp was suffering.
Crawfish have to have current to be able to move and survive.
The result, they say, of oil and gas pipelines changing the waters.
You can't sell a dead crawfish.
I learned my schooling in the Chafalaya Basin.
Jody Mesh showed us how decades of development redrew the swamp.
This should be full of water right now.
Right, there should be water flowing across this whole swamp area right here.
Instead, miles of dams created by old pipelines.
Good flowing water makes everything produce. Now we produce probably about maybe 20–30% of what we used to produce.
We returned this week to find the state and federal government issued new permits.
This is the newest pipeline under construction.
Right. Hopefully they're going to pull the dirt back into the excavated trench and they're not going to leave it like they've done in the past. Every company that we've dealt with in the past, they've never provided any relief.
Last year, they hoped to have a champion in this fight,
Yes, I did vote for Donald Trump.
believing he would protect the basin.
I think he's bold enough to make the right changes.
A year later, the swamp is still waiting.
You and I met just a month after Trump was inaugurated. You told me that you needed the Trump administration's help. Have you gotten that help yet?
Not yet, no.
The Environmental Protection Agency, absent amid deregulation of oil and gas companies under Scott Pruitt, knee-deep in a different swamp.
Luxury condo.
Pay raises,
Special favors.
Ritz-Carlton lotion.
What?
Soundproof booth.
First-class travel.
The EPA director is supposed to see to it that our environment is taken care of and making sure that we're leaving something for our next generation.
If President Trump and Scott Pruitt are listening, what's your message to them?
Please help us. You know, I pray for you every day. Do the right things for the right reasons. This filter was put here by God to filter the water. It can't filter no more. It's just a big rotten ball of water. It needs the administration to come and help us.
The folks in these communities have been neglected by the government for decades. The swamp's deterioration is accelerating. But President Trump, he promised to look after those who were what he called the forgotten people. But like the corn farmers in Iowa and the coal miners in West Virginia, they're still waiting and hoping a year and a half in. They wanted here the swamp drained, but they'd much prefer their own gets cleaned up first.
Vaughn Hilliard, Catahoula, Louisiana.
Good piece. And Caddy K, I mean, from the president's promises to those in Louisiana, to his ability to do his job even remotely in a way that actually has positive impact. Look at Puerto Rico. More than 5,000 people died. I mean, he's left behind a humanitarian crisis there as well.
Yeah, at some point you wonder whether there is a competency issue with the administration, and maybe partly it's just that there's so much staff turnover, and partly that there are so many dramas that get created, and then there are also very real challenges that are sucking up a huge amount of people's time. But this doesn't come across as an administration that is incredibly effective at getting things done. And they were elected because they hadn't been in government before. They were elected because they didn't know how government worked. That's why they were so appealing from a populist standpoint. But the downside of that is that you get people into government that have never run government before, and then actually running government seems kind of hard. And getting things done, whether it's helping people in Puerto Rico or helping people down in Louisiana fix their swamps, isn't as easy as it looks. It's hard running government, and Joe knows this from having been in government before and having served on the Hill. You have to know what you're doing, and coming in, it's great to come in and say, we're going to be totally different. We have no experience. We're outsiders. Right. But then you actually have to know how to make the mechanics of things work.
No, it's hard.